You ever have one of those nights where your whole life flips upside down before you even finish your coffee? Yeah, that was me. One regular evening in the sun-scorched desert of Arizona, thinking all I had to worry about was the rattlesnakes and maybe a stubborn cactus or two. Turns out, my biggest threat wore a blue blazer, drove a Lexus, and came packing more bylaws than sense. I guess I should have known building my dream house out here, 20,000 square feet of Arizona dust, half wild land, half sweat equity, was never going to be as simple as drawing up plans, hammering nails, and calling it home. Not when there's an HOA prowling just over the hill, hungry for control. Let me back up a sec. 5 years ago, I cashed in my last Army contracting gig, swore off beige cubicles and supervisors with opinions on everything from my shoes to my sense of humor, and bought a plot that was mine in every way that matters, bordering the Sandy Creek HOA on one side and nothing but honest desert on the other. I checked every deed, plat map, zoning reg. Heck, I made my realtor check them twice because if there's one thing Army life teaches you, it's that paperwork can bite harder than a rattler if you're not careful. So imagine my surprise when, 3 weeks back, I find this glossy "Welcome to Sandy Creek" folder jammed in my mailbox. Faux cursive, community bylaws, landscaping do's and don'ts, the works. Thought maybe it was for the young couple down the hill with a golden doodle and the world's drunkest mailbox. Tossed it, went back to patching my workshop wall. Then comes round two. Certified mail, official HOA letterhead, signed by the Queen Bee herself, Karen Hale, president of All That's Petty. According to her, my solar panels were a blight on the community, and if I didn't rip him down in 30 days, I'd owe $500. Now, I'm a patient guy. I read her letter twice, laughed so hard my neighbor's dog started barking, then sent her a copy of my deed and zoning map with a note, polite but clear, "I'm not in your little kingdom, ma'am." Thought that'd settle it. Rookie mistake. Few days later, I hear her before I see her. Click-clack of expensive heels on my gravel, papers rustling, voice sharp enough to cut drywall. She's standing there in a crisp blazer, clipboard stacked thicker than a conspiracy theory, smile stretched so tight it looked like it hurt. Afternoon, I say, wiping my hands on my jeans. "I got your letter, but you're mistaken. This is private property outside the HOA." She doesn't even blink. Well, boundaries shift, maps change, sometimes the paperwork lags behind. Not mine, I tell her, holding on my laminated, notarized map. "You can check with the county." She just gives me that look, you know the one, like she's the sheriff and I'm the dust. That night, something feels off. Old combat nerves, maybe, but I upgrade my camera system anyway. Motion alerts, perimeter sensors, the works. Didn't take long for things to escalate. White Lexus SUV cruising by 3 times a day. Neighborhood kids suddenly forgetting to wave. Torn HOA newsletters thrown over my fence. Then my neighbor Steve pulls me aside. Karen's run folks out before. Flagpoles, paint colors, stuff nobody should care about. She'll make your life hell just because she can. I made a note, started logging everything. License plates, photos, letters, because this wasn't nosiness, this was war. Pretty soon, the city's on my case. Some anonymous tipster claims my gravel's too long. In Arizona, where grass is a myth. Fire safety warnings about unsecured chemicals. My garage holds one old propane tank and a box of nuts and bolts. Then noise complaints about a generator I don't even own. Inspectors show up, sheepish, "Just checking boxes, sir," but off the record, someone's really working overtime here. I thank them, keep logging, keep my lawyer, Rachel, in the loop. She just laughs. Classic HOA overreach. Start a folder and buy more hard drives, it's going to get dumber. She wasn't wrong. Next comes the surveillance. Someone's out there at 3 a.m. with a camera, snapping shots of my garage. Sheriff says it looks like a PI, but when I catch a silver Ford parked near my fence and run the plates, turns out it's registered to Karen's own son. Real cute. I get a drone, thermal imaging, night vision, the works. Not just for wildlife now, but for proof. Then Karen ramps up her smear campaign, whispering to neighbors, dropping hints that I'm unstable, aggressive, not a good fit for the community. HOA newsletters start showing up. No names, but plenty of public safety threats and blurry photos of my house, red circles around my satellite dish and workshop, labeled visual pollutants. Rachel nearly chokes laughing. They're giving us ammo. But it still stings, you know? Being turned into the local boogeyman for daring to want a little peace. One day, I get word from Rachel that the county assessor's office flagged my property. Someone filed to rezone my land into the HOA with supporting letters from a board. Only half those signatures are forged. One guy had been dead 4 months. That's when it hits me. This isn't just pettiness, it's fraud. I march into the county office with every map, deed, drone shot I've got and file a formal objection. Ethics complaint, fraud report, the works. We send copies to the city, DA, local news, just to be safe. That's when the real motive comes out. Anonymous envelope shows up, blueprints for a massive community arts and wellness center, phase 2 of which eats up my land. They need my lot for a 7-figure real estate deal, and since I won't sell, they're going for the back door. Steve just shakes his head, buyout scheme. She's got a developer lined up. You're the bulldozer in the gears. I take it as a compliment. And the hits keep coming. Suddenly, businesses can't serve me. My trash pickup gets canceled. Internet drops out. Karen's tightening the screws. I file freedom of information requests. Dig through city emails. Find proof she's been promising my land to developers, manufacturing community support with fake surveys, even coaching city planners on what to say. But the smoking gun is a letter from her to the developer, assuring them my parcel will be absorbed within a year. That's my land, right there in writing. Rachel goes, "We're going nuclear." Not a minute too soon, because the next night, 2 patrol cars light up my house like a Christmas tree. Officers barking over the bullhorn to come out, hands up. Turns out, someone filed a bogus burglary report. Anonymous tip of a man breaking in. Described me to AT. I show them my camera footage. Nothing but me, my book, and some leftover chili. One cop hangs back, same last name as Karen, gives me a smirk and a maybe watch your place better at night. Real subtle. That's the line. I file complaints, go public, attach footage to an open letter. The HOA responds with another threat. Work more closely with us or face further action. The next morning, flyers appear on every power pole. My house circled in red, uncooperative resident endangering community safety. I just scan one and file it with the rest. Let them dig their hole deeper. Now, here's the twist. I get a knock on my gate. Young woman, nervy, shaking, Tasha, says she worked for Karen, stuffing envelopes, typing up meeting minutes, forging signatures on HOA documents. She hands over a USB stick full of scans, metadata, and a voice memo of Karen ranting about how I need to be made an example of. That was it, the smoking gun. Now it was more than just my word against theirs. Court day comes. Rachel and I roll in with briefcases stacked higher than a Vegas poker game. Evidence? We got it all: videos, emails, drone shots, Tasha's testimony, even a forensic analyst to break down how they tried to deep fake a video of me at a fake party. Like, come on, I barely go to real ones. Karen's lawyer tries to paint me as a paranoid crank, but the judge, a straight shooter named Ramirez, shuts it down hard. Then Rachel brings in a forensic accountant who finds a $75,000 donation from the developer to an HOA nonprofit. Same week, Karen's flooding the city with forged support letters. Game over. Judge Ramirez doesn't mince words, finds Karen guilty of fraud, defamation, conspiracy, slaps Officer Hale for misconduct, finds the whole HOA liable for damages. $2 million. Full punitive package. She even says the case represents systemic abuse of property rights and should be looked at federally. Karen's face went sheet white. Her lawyer slumped. The courtroom emptied out slow, but nobody looked at them. Check cleared 2 weeks later, after the city forced the HOA to liquidate their reserves and freeze Karen's assets. After the verdict, things changed. Wind sounded cleaner. Neighbors started waving again. Steve, hell of a win. HOA board cracked. 2 quit. 1 went on TV to apologize. The media called it the Liberty Hill case. HOA got put under external monitoring. Karen banned from any community office. The developer pulled out. names scrubbed from every filing. I finished my solar grid, painted my north wall fire truck red, just because I could. Put up a hand-carved sign, private property, no HOA jurisdiction. Launched a nonprofit to help other folks fight back, Freehold Watch. Got stories from all over, Texas, Utah, Georgia, people fined for bird feeders, threatened for growing tomatoes. I even got asked to keynote city council meetings, law schools, reform rallies. Me, the guy who just wanted peace and a quiet sunrise. And yeah, I still live here. Build an arch over my gate, polished steel, laser cut. Welcome to Liberty Hill. No HOA, no nonsense. Constitution applies here. Folks stop by just to shake my hand, ask advice, share stories. I keep a cooler of iced tea on the porch. Karen moved to California, started a consulting business. Irony's a hell of a drug. Officer Hale resigned before they fired him. Turns out I wasn't his only mistake. The HOA dissolved after a community vote. Sandy Creek finally became a neighborhood, not a kingdom. Most mornings now, I sit on my porch, coffee in hand, sunrise bleeding over the hills, thinking about how close I came to losing it all. Funny thing is, when they tried to erase me, they ended up making me legend instead. So let me ask you, how far would you go to protect what's yours? Where's the line between standing your ground and declaring war? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me about your own battles with power run wild. And hey, don't ever let anyone redraw your boundaries without a fight.